the cashless policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria. By the way, we did get across to several officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria. They did give their word they were going to come, but at the moment, they are not here today. Well, Mr. Chuks Nwachukwu joins us now. He's a legal analyst. Thank you for coming on this morning. Well, this policy that a whole lot of people seem to be focusing on. We heard the previous guest say, this is important for this economy. We just have to move forward as a country. What's wrong with it?
Well, as an idea, it's a good idea. It's a good thing to dream about, But the reality of the situation is that you cannot operate this idea in this country now.
What do you mean, dream and reality?
Yes, there's a difference between the dream and the reality. The reality is that the infrastructure for the operation of a cashless policy is not here in this country, and the CBN is doing nothing about that. The CBN perhaps has little competence in that regard. When I talk about infrastructure, the basic thing is the legal infrastructure, the regulatory framework. We don't have a regulatory framework for electronic transfer of money. We don't have an internet law in this country. A law that defines duties, responsibilities, liabilities, offenses, and how to prove those offenses.
No, but shouldn't those be things that we should be thinking of along with this policy?
No.
Other government agencies and parastatals should be able to wake up and say, if the CBN is going to do this, then we should also be able to help them do this.
No, it doesn't operate like that. You don't go to build a house, you don't put a foundation, you begin to set up a building and say maybe the foundation engineer will come as you are building to get a foundation for you. No. What I'm saying now is that you are exposing the economy to ruin. You are exposing individuals to ruin. You are exposing the banks to ruin. I'll just give you a little example. Somebody hacks into your system and transfers all your money into his own account. Who is liable? How do you get your money back? Now, when you get the guy, what do you charge him with?
So even if you trace it to the
guy, even if you catch the culprit, what offense has he committed?
But it's not looking at
financial crimes.
Yeah. Crime has to be defined by law. What do you want to charge him with? He stole your money. Isn't that so?
Whether or not...
No, I'm coming. You say you want to say he stole your money.
Yes, definitely. That's stealing.
Mm-hmm. Stealing is defined by law as actual taking.
Actual
taking. You must take. It must be something capable of being taken.
Not virtual taking.
Not virtual. So you cannot, and it's happened in this country already.
Now
I'm coming. You remember the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Bankole? Mm-hmm. One of the technicalities on which the charge against him was thrown out was this issue. He was charged with stealing money. And they said, look, he didn't take anything. It's not stealing.
Wow.
You understand? So the charge technically is wrong.
You know what's interesting? For instance, now, for a very long time, we did not have anything on terrorism. Now, assuming we had caught a terrorist, there was no law, helping us to prosecute him successfully.
Yes.
Does that now mean that we will let the terrorist go because there are no laws?
Of course.
We will have to let the terrorist go because there are no laws.
Let me answer that. The simple answer to that is that if you have no law under which you can prosecute someone, that person, by the constitution of this country, will go free. Because you cannot, after catching the person, now enact a law.
And it cannot be what?
Yeah, the law cannot have retroactive effect. So you need to enact the law first, before you begin to the prosecution. What you now do when you get a terrorist is that you may not charge him with terrorism per se. You now look for something that is on ground. You understand? As much as possible, something, and that thing might not be sufficient to deal with the situation. Now you can just, I just want to, you just talked about pension scam now. You can see, what are the charges? We're talking about billions of naira. What are the charges? Charges are conspiracy, criminal breach of trust. Criminal breach of trust, how many years imprisonment in criminal breach of trust? It doesn't matter the amount.
So that's like a slap on the wrist?
I mean, what is it? It's like a slap on the wrist. How much?
Is that why the National Assembly eventually came up with this anti-terrorism law?
That was why the anti-terrorism law had to be passed.
So it's one of the things that can be done. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, but who should drive it?
In the meantime.
That takes me to where the next point I wish to make. I said that the CBN governor has little competence in this area. Now, you have...
The legal area, not the financial area.
Yes, I'm coming to that. He is trying to make law. He is trying to make law.
No, I don't think he has done anything.
He has done that in saying that you will lose 10% of your money above a certain limit. In saying you cannot put in cash beyond a certain level from your account.
Can I go to court on that?
You can, and that's it. I myself want to go to court on that.
No, but on what basis?
Good. On the basis that it's only the National Assembly that is competent to make laws. You have powers to make regulations for banking operations. Now, those regulations will not involve payment of penalty, because penalty means that you've done something wrong. You're being penalized. I mean, you put your money. Is it wrong to put your money in your account? Is it wrong to withdraw your money? Then why are you being penalized?
If you're against the rules, I mean, I would think that if you're a regulator, there will be laid down rules, and if you're against that, shouldn't there be penalties for that?
That's where I'm going. Your power, you can talk about tariffs. You understand? A tariff will be a reasonable estimate of the cost of providing a service.
Well, he's not
excuse me.
That brings me to a point. Sorry,
Yes.
sir. Sorry to interrupt you here.
Yes.
But I do remember that the CBN governor was saying that we're not saying that people cannot withdraw their money. We're simply saying that they should pay for it. That's basically what he's saying. So I think there are two different ways you can look at it. If you're looking at it as a penalty, that's not what it is. It's like a service cost, a service charge for withdrawing over the limits that we have. So how would you explain that?
Now, it does not matter what you call it. It's for the court to interpret what a penalty is. And the courts have a definition for penalty. Anything that is beyond the reasonable estimate of the service becomes a penalty, especially when you say it's after this limit. You are penalizing the withdrawal beyond the limit. You are penalizing depositing money beyond that limit.
Okay.
Because that 10%, 5% you're charging is not a reasonable estimate of the cost.
That is debatable.
It's blind.
That is debatable.
No, that's for the courts. Like I said, this is standard definition
what about
of
this,
what a penalty is.
What about this procedure? Pardon me for bothering that. If the CBN says, well, we're not dealing directly with the end user, the banker itself, we're dealing with the banks. So if we tell the banks this is what they need to do, it's up to them to, of course, then they pass it on. So can they argue based on that we didn't have direct access?
That's the next point I was going to. That's another reason why what the CBN is doing is wrong. Now you cannot determine for the bank what is going to charge for his services to his customer. You can, in fact, it's even against the principle of competition. You understand? You just say all the banks for providing this service, you have to charge so amount of money. It's in charges that people, differentiate their operations.
But if this is a uniform charge, I mean, across board, you go to the bank A, it's this charge, you go to bank B, it's the same charge. I don't think that should count as any, special condition that any customer will consider before going to a bank.
That is wrong then, because you don't give the customer any choice. The principle of competition is defeated. And its economy, what you're trying to do is to turn the banks into a monopoly, where the banks cannot reasonably cost their their services to the people and charge accordingly. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the second thing is that you cannot, like I said, getting a tariff, the power you have to set tariffs does not mean that you now impose on banks a charge. You can say, what tariff will say, you cannot charge beyond this limit. You can charge zero. It's your business. But you cannot charge beyond this. But you must charge this amount.
A moment here. Have you gone
that's a legislation. You understand what I'm saying? And that belongs to the National Assembly. You need a law to say that if I pay this amount of money into my account, I'm going to lose 10% of it.
Now, if we leave that for a moment now, let's look at the good this policy tends to bring to us. Going through all of that now, we've seen a couple of statements from the CBN. You can also visit their website, and they talk about a whole lot that it can actually drive the development and modernization of our payment system. If all of these are in place, you wouldn't be having any problems with the bank.
No, the issue, right? the thing, like I said,
if we have the enabling laws you talked about.
No, it's not just this. The laws are just. I just brought that to show you that the policy is not well thought out.
Are you saying there is more outside the law?
There's more apart from the law.
Even when we have a law in place.
There's more. Look, when you don't even have I heard you talking about digital forensics. You don't have anything like that that can go into that. You know. You really cannot investigate. You don't have capacity to investigate fraud on the internet. Apart from, even if you make the law, the capacity to investigate, you don't even have the personnel who are trained.
I thought they said they have special fraud units, SFU in the police force.
Of course, you have special. How many of them? How many of them? Because you are driving. Even the little that they are doing now, they're already getting overwhelmed by it. But you are driving everybody into it. You are not giving people a choice. Do you understand? All of a sudden, the surge in cases of fraud. Now, if you look at internet fraud abroad, Nigerians, I'm sorry to say, identity theft and all of that, ATM, PIN codes and things like that. This is an industry that even the US has not been able to deal with.
The fact that the U.S. has not been able to successfully conquer it doesn't mean that we shouldn't go there. But let's look at one of the reasons.
What I'm trying to say is I'm not saying that we shouldn't go, but I want to point out how we can get to where we're going.
Okay.
I mean, where you want to go, and I want to warn against one man waking up and driving his idea upon the whole nation. You don't run a country like that. Don't run a system like that. You can ruin the people. This thing you're doing it has ruined banks abroad.
Well,
people have
make the mistake of looking at this
people
as
have
a one-man policy.
defrauded banks.
It's a government
into
policy.
Bankruptcy.
Let's not tie
this is very, very possible as it is now.
Mr. Chuks, let's be careful here not to tie it to an individual whatsoever, because if you look at it critically, it's a government's policy.
Institutions.
No.
It's an institution, a government institution. It's a government
institution. It's a government institution. But look at what I'm saying. I'm saying that the power to even embark on this policy does not lie with the CBN. It lies with the National Assembly to make the necessary rules and regulations. Make a law. It's only the National Assembly that can say that I should not put money beyond so limit in my account in a day. We are just sitting down here. We don't know what is going on. Banks now, as we're standing here, are raking off people's money.
Really?
Many people, 10%. If you as an individual, if you put more than 500,000, and it's not just you putting it. Maybe different people are putting money into your account, different locations. If your business involves that, you don't even No, people are, and the bank is taking 10% of your money.
Have you had any clients who?
No, but it's going to happen. That's what the regulation says.
Excuse me. This is
that's
about,
what the regulation says.
This doesn't. Let's put it in context. If people are putting in over 500,000 naira in your account in cash,
yes.
Not that if they're putting it in, with their phones electronically,
yes.
Any other
in
method,
cash.
they're not being charged. But
yes.
if you're putting it in with cash,
yes.
then you have a problem.
Yes.
But be that as it may, let's also look at the complaint of the CBN.
Look at Dalico. There's something I heard somebody when I came to discover. Very large operator in Dalico market. I discovered that this woman doesn't have a business name. It's a personal name that she uses to transact business. People pay in cash. And you're talking about millions, tens of millions in a day. You understand what I'm saying? These people do not know this cashless thing you are talking about. I don't know what I'm saying. They just discover that their money is good. And that 10% you are taking, the profit margin for that business might not even be up to 10%. And that's what you are taking. You ruin the economy. You ruin services.
We're looking at
you understand? You ruin the ability of people to transact business.
Mr. Chukwuma, we're looking at the complaint of the CBN governor.
Yes.
He talked about how huge a cost it is for our economy to continue to print currency. We look around most times and we complain as to how dirty our currency looks at times. And we're wondering how come it is we cannot have clean currency within the economy. And the CBN governor looked at that and how much it was costing us on it. Printing the currency is worth much more than the currency itself. And shouldn't that be a source of concern to us?
It should be a source of concern. We agree that to a certain extent, we should go cashless. You can't go completely cashless. It's not possible. You're dealing with a population that is about 70% illiterate, rural. And you want to bring all these people into the formal economy. The informal economy in Nigeria is very large.
How do we begin to formalize this economy?
So I say that going cashless is good. But how do you get there? This is where we're having problem. Is how you get there. Now I'm saying that we have framework already that if we consistently apply, we can get people to find it more advantageous to go cashless.
Okay, but
for instance now, money laundering. If you deposit 500,000 as an individual, 1 million as a corporate body, I think. I don't know.
3 million.
3 million.
I'm talking about, and 500,000.
Now, you are obliged to report to.
Have they always done that? That law has always been there.
That's what I'm telling you. That you need to enforce those. Because money laundering. This is just. I want to take you through. Money laundering is very easy to prosecute. Very easy. That was why you had this Ibori. It was easy to prosecute him on money laundering charges, but not easy to prosecute him for corruption. That is why we are talking about offenses now. It's what he's done. You understand what I'm saying? The same thing. But do you call it corruption? Do you call it money laundering? Money laundering is that, look, you have this money. Please, tell us. How did you come by this money? That's just all. Immediately you cannot offer an explanation as to how that money comes. It doesn't matter. The money might have been, for all intents and purposes, from a good source. But you cannot offer a reasonable explanation as to how you got that money. You argue your money laundering. You understand? So, if you trace money like this, if you keep tab on money like this, and you call people, this amount is in your account, you just made this sudden deposit. Can you just tell us?
The banks have been guilty of this, so we really cannot put the blame on CBN because
I'm telling you,
they don't report. If they do not report over time,
you cannot enforce the basic one. You are now going up because of your failure to prosecute basic laws. You are not going to something. You just like to transfer burdens on people because you don't think about people. You don't belong there because you wear your suit and your tie. You come to office. You don't know what goes out there. That is why you keep on transferring burden on people.
Does it have to be the CBN that will drive these laws to be in place?
It's the CBN They should go to National Assembly. This thing they are telling us, they should tell the National Assembly. Draft a law. The internet bill has been with the National Assembly for so long. Do you understand what I'm saying? All this electronic transfer of funds, you discover that banks are far more prone to liability than individuals, even for things that you think the individual should be responsible for. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because the bank has to cross-check and double cross-check. But do you understand what I'm saying? But here, now, what is happening now, by the time you go to your bank, and I'm sure most of you have tried to take the internet banking system, you are given some small prints. You hardly read them. It's a click to say that you accepted the terms. You don't know that that thing is putting your neck on the line.
But some of them,
you cannot hold them responsible.
I think
even when they steal your PIN codes and steal your money, you can't hold them. Those things are written there. You need a law to say what kind of situations can the bank exempt.
Yeah, but doesn't Bofia cover for all of this?
Bofia does not. Bofia doesn't have anything to do with this. It doesn't have anything to do with this. The CBN Act doesn't have anything to do with this. That's what I'm saying.
But individuals, yes, individuals should have avenues to be able to complain. If I feel that I have been defrauded by my bank or by staff members or staff in that bank, shouldn't I have a way to be able to complain? There is no legal basis
for you to make a complaint, and when you make a complaint, there's no legal basis for the prosecution of your complaint. Then why entrust that kind of thing to the bank? And you would have signed agreements with the bank that exempts them from liability, because you just click. You have no choice. You are even forced into the contract by government policy. You are being compelled. You are the mercy of the banks. Anything they put down for you to sign, you have to sign it.
So what should be the way forward? Since you agree it's a nice policy, there must be a first step to all of this.
Immediately, this thing is illegal, it's unlawful. It doesn't have that power. And I want to warn the bank, because we want to go to court. Keep taking people's money. You better make provision for refund, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And with interest. Better start making provision for that now, because it's going to happen. You know? It's going to happen. You're not going to take billions out of people.
Excuse me.
You understand what I'm saying? And then you say it's CBN that asked you to do that, when the contract between you and the individual is private. You understand?
Well, we'll have to focus on, we'll see what happens eventually, because CBN says, well, they actually do mean well. They want the economy to move. They want us to, of course, corruption, the security threats, all of this have got to be factored in. And so, but eventually, we'll keep trying to get across to the Central Bank of Nigeria, hoping that someday they will oblige and be on the program and address the fears that a whole lot of people have, because it kicked in on the 1st of April, actually, after several postponements.
No. The
I was going to say adjournment.
The charges kicked in on the 1st of April.
So it's in now. It's upon us.
Yeah. Look at that. I was running at the toll gate. I saw this Lekki construction company, and I saw people paying. Do you know how much they make every day? If you keep on collecting 10% of their money. And I asked them, I'm a lawyer in the High Court. I saw this money that you make. People are paying you cash, pay that little money, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. But at the end of the day,
cashless too.
Of course, you see, one thing that these are government agencies that have to deal with a lot of people, and whom they cannot force to do this or do that. You will see that 10% of government money will be going to banks.
Well,
you know, and banks, individuals may complain, but these government agencies may not complain, because it's government money. But it's your money, it's my money.